Hey guys, welcome back to Sunlight Covenant Oils. I just wanted to share briefly with you today another video and get into a little bit of some basics about essential oils and about biblical anointing oils, and my 4 anointing oils that I have through Sunlight Covenant Oil here of royalty. Protect, defend, and deliver. Talk a little bit about what's in them and what they can help you with. So I just want to start off with this video, particularly just about some basics about essential oils. You know, essential oils have been around for a long time. Yahuwah created, every herb-bearing seed for our medicine, and He gave us the leaf for our medicine. And man has tainted that. Man has taken that and added to that which Yahuwah says not to add to, and subtracted from that which Yahuwah said not to subtract from. Thence you have tons of side effects and all the things that go with conventional medicine that just cover up, it's just band-aids covering up symptom after symptom and never getting to the root of the problem. So we want to do things the Creator's way, and so that's why I have developed this company, so that we can get back to essential oils and what their role is in our lives, specifically biblical anointing oils, as I believe we have gotten away from anointing ourselves and our homes and our loved ones. And we have gotten away from a lot of things that Yahuwah has commanded us to do, actually. But I want to stick to the topic at hand and talk about essential oils. So they've been around. They were mankind's first medicine, right? And so actually there are, the Egyptian hieroglyphics and Chinese, they were in Egyptian hieroglyphics and Chinese manuscripts. We know that the priests and physicians have been using essential oils for thousands of years. In Egypt, essential oils were used in embalming processes, as well as preserved oils were found in alabaster jars in King Tut's tomb. Egyptian temples were dedicated to the production and blending of the oils, and recipes were recorded on the walls in hieroglyphics. There is even a sacred room in the temple of Isis on the island of Philae, where a ritual called cleansing the flesh and blood of evil deities was practiced. This form of emotional clearing required 3 days of cleansing using particular essential oils and oil baths. So even clear back in the day, the Egyptians and the Chinese used all of these things in their rituals, too, whether it was for, good or evil, they used them. We want to use them for good, the way Yahuwah created them to be. And so there is actually 188 references to essential oils in the Bible. Oils such as frankincense and myrrh and rosemary and hyssop and spikenard were used for anointing and healing the sick. In Exodus, Yahuwah gave us a recipe, which is my royalty, in Exodus 30, called the Holy Anointing Oil. This consisted of myrrh, what was to be a specific recipe of about a gallon, sweet cinnamon, which is to be about a half a gallon, sweet calamus, which is to be about a half of a gallon, and cassia, which is to be a gallon, and a hint of olive oil, which is to be about a gallon and a third, 1 1/3 gallons. And so this was called the Holy Anointing Oil. Now there's some debate on the ingredients here. Just briefly, they list the 4 essential oils, but there is research shows that there is probably 20 plus different oils that were in this particular blend. So there's no way we can actually recreate it or the way it was intended to originally, because again, a lot has been removed from our Bibles and a lot has been added to. And one of the things in this particular passage of Exodus 30 that was removed was all the ingredients, because they did not want it to fall into hands of evil men or Gentiles, because this oil was created specifically for Israel, Yahuwah's people, for the priests and for the temple, for specifically to set themselves apart. And we see in 1 Samuel that it was also used to anoint kings. And in our day, this was all foreshadow as we are kings and priests. We we are a kingdom of kings and priests in the order of Melchizedek. And our bodies are the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh that can be set apart as a holy vessel unto him. So this oil is specifically used specifically for set apartness, not for common use, not for, anointing strangers or anybody outside of Israel that was considered a Gentile or a stranger, one that was out of covenant. That's what Gentile means, one out of covenant. When you come into in covenant, that means that you believe in Yahushua and what he did for you on the tree by bringing you back into the covenant, his Torah. It wasn't nailed to the tree or the cross, as Christianity teaches. He did not die to nail his own law to the tree. Died to bring us back into covenant, because there was a separation that Yahuwah had divorced Israel because they broke the covenant. So Yahuwah Yahusha took the death penalty for us on our behalf in order to bring us back into relationship with the Father. Hence, sunlight covenant oils, right? The sun brought us back into covenant. And, one of the tools that he's using in these last days is the anointing oils to get us back to that for our protection and for our health. And so this particular oil was used specifically for the priests. So he did not say that we can't make it. He just says we should not make any other like it. So we do the best that we can with the tools that we are given, which are the essential oils that we have available to us today, and the recipe that was given here. And so, again, it was biblical anointing oils were listed 188 references in the Bible. Some examples are the 3 wise men presented Yahusha, the child, with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Right, and it was said that these were probably used to protect Yahusha as well. They were applied to him. There was also accounts in the Brit Hadashah, or the New Testament, where Yahusha was anointed with spikenard, and being in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, as he sat at meat, there came a woman having an alabaster box of an ointment of spikenard, very precious, and she broke the box and poured it on his head. Mark 14:3. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Yahusha, and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. In John 12:3, that was listed. So those are just a few examples. There was other examples of the man that was walking along the road, and he saw the man that was injured along the way on his journey, and he stopped and he poured oil and ointment, or oils and essential oils, wine and essential oils, into his wound to heal him. And so the disciples were taught to use anointing when anointing the sick. Yahusha taught them how to use oils. Yahusha used anointing oils themselves on people. Anyways, there's just a few. There's a lot of references to anointing oils in the Bible. We're called, we're even in the New Testament, if there's any sick among you, to call the elders of the assembly to come together and anoint the sick, and the prayer of faith will heal them. So that's one of the things we need to get back to in as Israel. We're called Israel once we come into covenant. We are come out of the traditions and doctrines of men back into the ancient paths where the good way is. We're back into covenant and obeying Yahuwah and what he calls us to do through belief in his Son. And one of the tools that he has given us as weapons of warfare is essential oils. So when looking for essential oils in general, and the essential oils that I put in my blends, and the holy anointing oil of Exodus 30 called Royalty Blend, you want to look for 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oils. What does this mean? Why is it important that you get pure grade A essential oils? Essential oils are volatile oils that were distilled from plants, which include their seeds, their bark, their leaves, the stems, the roots, the flowers, and fruit. One of the factors that determine the purity of an oil is its chemical constitutes. These constitutes can be affected by a vast number of variables, including plant from which the oil was produced, the soil conditions, the fertilizer it was grown in, was it organic or chemical, geographical region, climate, altitude, harvest season and methods, and distillation process. So it's very important to get an essential oil that was free of herbicides and pesticides, and that is what is the source that I get my essential oils from to put in my blends is pure 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oils. And the therapeutic grade usually just means that they're third party tested. So and that's what the source I get mine from is third party tested. So there are also benefits to using pure essential oils that are therapeutic grade. They are regenerating, oxygenating, immune defense properties from plants. Essential oils are so small in molecular size that they can quickly penetrate the tissues of the skin. Essential oils are lipid soluble and are capable of penetrating cell walls even if they have hardened because of the oxygen deficiency. In fact, essential oils can affect every cell of the body within 20 minutes and are then metabolized like other nutrients. They contain oxygen molecules which help transport nutrients to the starving human cells. Because of a nutritional deficiency is an oxygen deficiency. Disease begins when the cell lacks the oxygen for proper assimilation. By providing the needed oxygen, essential oils work to stimulate the immune system. So if your cells don't have enough oxygen due to nutritional deficiency, essential oils, in a sense, come along and they flood that cell with oxygen. Therefore, your immune system then increases and it can fight off sickness and disease. Essential oils are very powerful antioxidants, and antioxidants create an unfriendly environment for free radicals, and they prevent all mutations, work as free radical scavengers, prevent fungus, and prevent oxygenation of cells. There are also antibacterial, anti-cancerous, antifungal, anti-infectious, antimicrobial, anti-tumoral, anti-parasitic, antiviral, and antiseptic. So basically all the antis. And they have been shown to destroy all tested bacteria and viruses while simultaneously restoring balance to the body. They detoxify the cells and blood of the body. They contain sesquiterpenes, and this is very important because in all my blends, specifically, I think frankincense, myrrh, cedarwood that are in my blends, they're all sesquiterpenes. These are natural chemical compounds within the plant, and they all have one. And if it's a sesquiterpene, that means that it can pass the blood-brain barrier and get into the brain, enabling the oils to be effective in the treatment of Alzheimer's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's disease, and multiple sclerosis. And it also is very good because you have what they call the third eye here, which is called the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is your awakening or illumination center, and that's what keeps you connected to the Most High. That's your spiritual antenna, and that's why they're trying to calcify that. That's why there's fluoride in your toothpaste, fluoride treatments when you go to the dentist, fluoride in your water. There's so many things that they're using to try to calcify that pineal gland, not to mention the heavy metals that are raining down in the chemtrails that we're breathing in every day, and the parasites that are in those, and the parasites that are floating around everywhere, that are in the food, that are in the water. We're just surrounded by so many toxins, and then you add the 5G onto that, which messes with your oxygen. The 60 gigahertz messes with your blood, the oxygen in your blood, and can cause your blood to clot. So essential oils provide oxygen to the body, oxygen to the cells. And so the sesquiterpenes are very important, and they pass the blood-brain barrier, and I went over all that. So they essential oils can be diffused. Now do not put mine in a diffuser because they have olive oil in them. These are strictly anointing oils, not to be diffused or anything like that. They're to apply anointing. They also have olive oil in it, so they're not, there is, that probably would mess up your machine. So don't diffuse them. They're just strictly put on you topically. Essential oils. Uh-oh. Am I still recording? For some reason, my computer just went off. I didn't know if it was, I think the battery's still good. I don't know. Had a glitch there for a minute. So anyway, sorry about that. My essential oils promote emotional, physical, and spiritual healing. And they also have a bioelectrical frequency that is several times greater than the frequency of herbs, foods, and even the human body. And they can raise the clinical research has shown that they can raise the human body frequency, restoring it to normal, healthy levels. And so I just want to go into that briefly, the frequency and essential oils. Your body is run by a frequency. You know, when you scuff your feet and you get shocked, it's because you run on electromagnetic frequencies, and our bodies are constantly being bombarded with different frequencies. You turn on a microwave, or you're getting hit with your cell phone frequency, or the television frequency, or the 5G frequency. All these things, our bodies, which depletes our frequency and our aura around us. And so essential oils can help raise that frequency up, because when your body gets below a certain frequency, it starts in with sickness and disease. So the human brain, and frequency, let me just give it a definition of frequency, is measurable by a rate of electrical energy that is constant between 2 points. Everything has an electrical frequency. So they actually took technology that was developed to measure biofrequency of humans and foods. And they took this technology and they put took the essential oils, and they used the biofrequency monitor to determine the relationship between frequency and disease. So some of their studies were as follows. I'm going to read them to you. The human brain runs on 72 to 90 megahertz. The human body runs on 62 to 68 megahertz. When you develop a cold symptom, your body then goes down to 58 megahertz. The flu symptom, 57 megahertz. Candida, which is the overgrowth of yeast, 55 megahertz. Epstein-Barr, 52 megahertz. Cancer, 42 megahertz. Seeing how it's going down, down, down. Death begins at 25 megahertz. So that's just dealing with a human brain, body, and some diseases there. When you take in processed or canned foods, that has 0 megahertz. There's no frequencies in there, which means it's not beneficial at all to your body. Fresh produce is up to 15 megahertz. Dry herbs is 12 to 22 megahertz. Fresh herbs are 20 to 27 megahertz. And essential oils are 52 to 320 megahertz. 320 megahertz. So when you're applying essential oils to your body in a sickened state, where you're having oxygen depleted from your cells and you're not getting nutritional value, and you're getting bombarded with all these things surrounding you every day in our environment, essential oils can raise your frequencies from 52 to 320 megahertz. And so it's just, they're very, very powerful oils. So they did a test, and initially the frequency of each of the two individuals were as follows. The first was a 26-year-old male, and the second was a 24-year-old male. Was measured at 66 megahertz for both. Their human body, they put this machine on them, and it measured their frequency, and it was 66 megahertz, which was in normal range for the human body. The first individual held a cup of coffee. I know all of you love your coffee. Without drinking any of it, and his frequency dropped to 58 megahertz in 3 seconds. He then removed the coffee and just inhaled the aroma of essential oil. Within 21 seconds, his frequency returned to 66. The second individual took a sip of coffee, and his frequency dropped to 52 megahertz in the same 3 seconds. However, no essential oils were used during the recovery time. It took 3 days for his frequency to return to 66. So another interesting result of this study was the influence that thoughts, our own thoughts, can have on our frequency as well. Negative thoughts lowered a measured frequency by 12 megahertz, and positive thoughts raised the measured frequency by 10 megahertz. It also found that prayer and meditation increased the measured frequency levels by 15 megahertz. So there's just so much with frequency and what essential oils can do for our bodies and raising our frequency levels to keep us healthy and strong and to keep our immune systems fighting in a world that is trying to destroy our immune system in every way, shape, and form. So what does essential oils or pure essential oils have on the brain? Well, the blood-brain barrier is a barrier between the circulating blood and the brain that prevents certain damaging substances from reaching the brain tissue and cerebral spinal fluid. The American Medical Association determined that if they could find an agent that would pass the blood-brain barrier, they would be able to cure Alzheimer's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. In June of 1994, it was documented by the Medical University of Berlin, Germany, and Vienna, Austria, that sesquiterpenes have the ability to go beyond the blood-brain barrier. And sesquiterpenes are in all of my oils through frankincense, myrrh, cedarwood, and a couple others. High levels of sesquiterpenes found in essential oils of frankincense and sandalwood help increase the amount of oxygen in the limbic system of the brain, particularly around the pineal and pituitary glands. This leads to an increase of secretions of antibodies, endorphins, and neurotransmitters. Also present in the limbic system of the brain is a gland called the amygdala. I can never pronounce this. Amygdala. In 1989, it was discovered that the amygdala plays a major role in the storing and releasing of emotional trauma. The only way to stimulate this gland is the fragrance or the sense of smell. Therefore, with aromatherapy and essential oils, we're able to release emotional trauma. So sesquiterpenes and essential oils are very beneficial, protecting our minds, right? Our minds are supposed to be in Messiah. We have so many distractions going on around us. The Satan wants to deter us to the right and to the left, and we're to keep our minds on things above, not on things of the earth. And he says, those whose minds are stayed upon me, I will keep in perfect peace. But while they're trying to bombard our minds with all different kinds of things, and our minds are under attack and the battlefield is in our minds, we need essential anointing oils that have sesquiterpenes to pass the blood-brain barrier in order to keep our pineal glands open so we're awake, alert, oriented, and we're able to think properly and to focus. So let's see, I think I might end this video here soon. I wanted to go over, I think I'll stop there for that today, that information, but I do want to go over what's in my essential oils real quick. My anointing oils. The first oil is Royalty, and this lighting, I don't know if it'll zoom in or not, but this is Royalty. And this is the Exodus 30 oil. This is only to be used if you're in the house of Israel, if you believe in Yahushua Messiah, and you want to keep yourself set apart unto him, and you've come out of the traditions and doctrines of men, and you are keeping his commandments, and you return to the ancient paths where the good way is, and you're keeping his Torah. You are called Israel. That means you have come into covenant. You are Hebrew. Hebrew means one who has come in, who has crossed over from death to life. And Yahuwah formulated this recipe in Exodus 30 to set apart the priest and the vessels that were in the temple. We are the temple of Messiah, or the body, and is the temple, and we are kings and priests in the order. We're a kingdom of priests in the order of Melchizedek. So this is Royalty, and in Royalty is myrrh, cinnamon, calamus, cassia, and extra virgin olive oil. Now there's a discrepancy there's a debate, and it looks like the calamus was inserted and was actually supposed to be cannabis that was supposed to be there in this as part of this recipe. In that video, I went into more of that. I'm going to go into more of that, the cannabis versus the calamus debate that was in the Holy Anointing Oil in another video. but for this purposes, I use calamus in here. And myrrh is useful for your bones and joints, your digestion, your immune deficiencies, mental, emotional health, muscular joint problems, reproductive and skin conditions. Cinnamon that's in here is useful for digestion, circulation, menstrual regulation, mental and emotional health, respiratory, skin, and endocrine conditions. Calamus is useful for mental and emotional health, circulation, muscular joint problems, immune deficiencies, and nervous conditions. Cassia is useful for digestion, circulation, menstrual regulation, immune deficiencies, muscular joint problems, emotional, mental health, respiratory, and skin conditions. And then there's 100% cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, and this is the only oil suitable for anointing. And so this is a carrier oil, and it's used, it's only suitable for anointing and carries disinfecting and healing properties. And I will go in a separate video at some point on strictly olive oil and discuss with you the importance and the health benefits of olive oil. And it's used as a carrier oil to carry in the essential oils at a faster rate to get them where they need to be. That's why it's called a carrier. So that's royalty. And then this is protect. I don't know, it's hard to get that lighting right. I got new labels that have the, these turned out light, but I got them redone. So my new labels that I got are a lot darker. You can see the wording better, but also the lighting's hitting it up wrong. This is protect. In protect, you're going to get frankincense, which is useful for mental and emotional health, muscular, respiratory, skin, and hair conditions. And frankincense is a sesquiterpene, like we talked earlier. Myrrh is useful for bones, joints, digestion, immune deficiencies, mental, emotional health, muscular joint problems, reproductive and skin conditions. Fir balsam in here, which is going to smell more like woodsy, piney, that kind of thing. And any type of oil, essential oils that you get that are woodsy and piney, those are very grounding, makes you feel very grounded and very stable and steadfast. You know, we're supposed to be not be distracted to the right or to the left, or not to be unstable in all our ways. So this is going to make you feel grounded. It's useful for digestive issues, infertility, muscular joint problems, respiratory, immune, circulatory, and skin conditions. And then again, cassia, which is very strong, and it's cinnamon. And I didn't put as many drops. There's not as many drops of cassia in here as there is in royalty, just because I wanted to keep the so strong in cinnamon, and the royalty is very powerful in that cinnamony smell, spicy smell. So I wanted just a hint of it in here, and I wanted more of the fir balsam to stand out. So cassia is useful, again, for digestion, circulation, menstrual regulation, immune deficiencies, muscular joint problems, mental, emotional health, respiratory, and skin conditions. And it also has 100% cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil in that. And then we have defend. Defend, I call it defend because it has cedar wood in it, which protects the pineal gland. It's very good at keeping the pineal gland open so that we're alert and connected to the Most High. So defend has frankincense in it. We all went over frankincense and what that was useful for: mental, emotional health, muscular, respiratory, and skin and hair conditions. Myrrh in it, useful for bones and joints, digestion, immune deficiencies, mental, emotional health, muscular joint problems, reproductive and skin conditions. And cedarwood, which is useful for circulation, mental, emotional health, respiratory, urinary, skin and hair conditions, and also has the extra virgin olive oil, 100% cold pressed. And so all three of these are sesquiterpenes. So you get 3 of them in there for protecting. They can get past the blood-brain barrier. And then you have deliver. And deliver is my nighttime one. I love this. This is my favorite one because I love white angelica, and white angelica has several different oils in it, such as like geranium, ylang-ylang, melissa, rose, and quite a few others. But they call it white angelica, and it encourages feelings of protection and security. It brings a sense of strength and endurance, and it's used commonly to ward off negative energy. So anything negative you feel like coming at you or drowning you out, or being around negative people, or coming home and you just feel that negativity, put this on your forehead, neck, and down your shoulders. That's what white angelica helps with. This also has frankincense and myrrh, and we went over those in the other ones as well. So Psalm 23:5 I love, says, anoint my head with oil and my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yahuwah forever. So just that is what's in the oils. Again, royalty is $35, protect is $30, defend is $30, and deliver is $40. And my computer just went off again, so I don't know. No signal, it says. Hopefully it's still recording. So anyways, I'm going to end this video here, and I will come back in here near future with more videos educating you guys and talking and discussing topics. So feel free to leave comments in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think about anointing oils and your interaction with them, and we can learn from each other. Give me some of your helpful advice. So just hope you guys are doing well. I love you all, and I hope this video was educational to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I'll try to get back with you. And until next time, shalom.